AP.
Yes.
So you have these ladies on TikTok, and they watch TikTok Dawa videos, and then some of them actually convert, and they talk about how cool and fun it is, and wow, it's so cool, it's so awesome, converting to Islam, and wow, and then they get, of course, a burst of attention, right? They get a burst of attention. People are addicted to attention nowadays. One of the things that is really, really to do if you want attention, convert to Islam. You're going to get some negative attention. People are going to complain about you, and that makes you feel like a victim. But being a victim is another way of getting attention. And they'll also get tons of praise from the Muslim community. Oh, you're making such a great choice. You're making such a great choice. And that really feels good. You're one of the good ones now. You're a good person. You're a great person. So you start making videos about your journey as a Muslim, and all of a sudden, something interesting happens. The people who are praising you for making the right choice start telling you over and over and over again what you have to do. And shocker, you didn't know that they were going to tell you what to do, and that they were going to enforce rules on you, and that they were going to tell you there are all these things that you have to do now. And they're shocked, AP. Shocked, I say. But let's go ahead and check out an example of what I'm talking about. Let us do this. Here we go.
Salam alaikum, good morning.
Alaikum salam.
We need to talk.
Okay.
I get comments like this about 50.
The comment says, sister, please start to cover your hair. That's not even disrespectful, right? It's just, sister, please start to cover your hair. By the way, if anyone knows where this accent is from, let us know. We can't peg
It
this
sounds
one.
somewhere between Slavic and North European.
Sounds somewhere not American.
Yeah.
Salam alaikum, good morning. We need to talk. I get comments like this about 50 to 100 every single day.
She said she gets 50 to 100 comments a day telling her what to wear. They're telling her that she needs to cover her hair. 50 to 100 a day. That's a lot of people dedicating a lot of time to telling her what to wear.
Okay, here's a wild guess. She could be Dutch.
You're still on that? I moved on like 10 years ago.
She could be Danish.
Oh, okay.
I think she's Dutch.
Are people giving suggestions in the chat?
I don't know.
Okay.
Swedish cheekbone, Swedish, Dutch. I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll see.
What's
No,
her
we won't.
Thousands of men
Thousands of men.
telling me to cover my hair.
Shocker. Shocker. I could never
Please
predict
stop. You all say that it's commanded by God, but how certain are you?
How certain are you? This lady, I have no idea who she is. She has no clue how much she's triggering them right now, right? She's thinking as an individual, hey guys, I do not know. I want to research this for myself to decide what I'm going to wear. I'm not just going to do what everyone in the comments section is telling me to do. So I get to make decisions, and I'm casting doubt right now. How certain are you that these verses in the Quran, I think there are like 2 of them, how certain are you that these are commanding you to dress in a certain way? How certain are you? What is she doing? She's casting doubt upon the idea that women have to wear hijabs. Is that going to go over well in the Muslim community where they're watching and they know that she has other women who watch her channel, Muslim women who watch her channel? She's already put herself out there. Hey, I'm a new revert. Everyone look at me. I'm a new revert. And so everyone, yay. And all the Muslim women of the world, yay. Oh, we're going to follow this woman's journey. This woman's going, hey, are we even sure we're supposed to be wearing this hijab here? I don't think so. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not sure about that. So I'm just going to leave my lovely blonde locks flowing in everyone's faces. That going to go over well, AP?
Nope. It's going to be very, very stupid and very terrible.
That is correct.
And it's like, it is kind of an equivalent to, I don't know, somebody supposedly converting to Christianity. The issue is that Christianity doesn't have any such overt, strict things that you have.
Yeah, you have passages like dress modestly and things like that. But it's not
But if you suddenly converted to Christianity and then a very simple, basic doctrine you completely disregarded and started arguing, well, are you guys even sure that it is actually accurate? Like something that was resolved
Yeah,
like
some new
2000
person.
years ago.
Yeah, some new
Yeah.
person comes along. Are you guys sure? Is the entire Ummah sure about this? Because I haven't seen it, and I just started studying. I just started. I just converted, and I'm just learning. Are you guys sure you know what you're talking about? Because I don't know about this, and I decide this is way too individualistic, and this is horrifying to lots of men in the community because again, people are watching her, and they're worried about her influencing other reverts, other Muslim girls. They're worried about her casting doubt and thinking that she gets to decide for herself what Islam teaches. So I don't think this is going to go the way she thought it was going to go when she reverted. But let's let her continue here.
Because I've done my research. I know the verses by heart.
Whoa! Gosh, that's more extreme. So she's not saying, hey, I'm still learning and I'm going to wait until I figured it out. I've already determined, I've studied for, this is worse. I've studied this for myself. I'm the expert on this. You're not. And I'm telling you, these verses do not tell me that I need to cover myself. Wow. That's pretty hardcore. I'm liking this chick.
Chapter 24, verse 31. Chapter 33, verse 59. Are you so certain that it's commanded in the Quran? Then convince me.
Yes.
Because I've done my research and it comes down to one single word. Chapter 24, verse 31, that says, use a kimar to cover the chest.
She will say, let me guess, she will say
that...
that
could mean head cover, but also cover. But if I read it...
What were you going to predict, AP?
I was going to say that she'll say it could be a head cover, but also just a regular cover to put on your bosom.
Yeah, because it says it gets translated like cover your ornaments or something like that. What does that mean? What does your ornaments mean? Oh, it means your hair, and you'll have people who will interpret it like that. But I mean, totally, and say, oh no, this means your hands, and the others that even means your eyes. That's why you have to completely cover up and so on. But she's right in that it is way more vague. That verse is way more vague than lots of Muslims realize. But
yeah, I guess right. She's Dutch. I found it out. She's Dutch. I was obsessed with this. I was just looking for information. I was going through all her TikToks to see if she said it anywhere. And somebody asked somewhere and said, "What is your mother language?" And she said Dutch. Good.
So she's from Dutchland.
I'm going to give
Dutchland, über alles.
I'm going to give myself a trophy for this.
Hey, I have to say, the same verse that she's talking about right now does tell women to lower their gaze. She's looking right at me with those enticing eyes and her flowing blonde locks.
And the kimar could mean head cover, but also cover. But if I read it, use kimar to cover chest, the intention is to cover the chest.
It says ornaments.
With the kimar. How many times?
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, when the Quran says you gotta put this covering over your ornaments, you could interpret that as zabubas, right?
Yes,
as zabubas. That's what she's saying. But I'm telling you, she does not realize what she just did. She's announcing to Muslim women of the world, you don't actually have to wear any sort of head covering. This is great. So you shouldn't even complain if it's banned because it's not an actual part of your religion. It's just a myth spread by dudes. This is interesting. So anyway, that's the reasoning of people who are going to be really, really upset about her.
This is an incredibly, for those who don't understand, this is an incredibly problematic, incredibly bad thing in Islam. What she's doing right now, this is considered heresy and kufr, disbelief, blasphemy on her part, because she is denying that something that has been well established as obligatory is actually not obligatory. She's contesting it. Plus, on top of doing that, she is publicizing this idea and is preaching it to thousands, and thereby corrupting and thereby changing the Islamic morality and Islamic community, and influencing others and spreading corruption in the land. Basically,
That's what they would view that as.
This would be severely punishable under Islamic law.
Yeah, and she doesn't realize they will be enraged about this because this is the age of the internet. They will look at her as spreading corruption in Muslim lands.
Yeah,
she's spreading, even though she's wherever she is. She's spreading corruption in Muslim lands. This lady's not. I mean, I seriously hope she realizes what she's dealing with and she takes precautions. But you do have people who would want to harm her over this. But at the very least, they're going to harass her a lot, because they can't let any random new revert come along and redefine what Islam is for the rest of the world. They're not gonna put up with that. Let me go ahead and read these verses, and then we'll let her finish up. So I'll read two versions. I'll read the Shakir version, and then we'll read the Hilali Khan, which is a Salafi version, and where they actually add commentary. They add their own commentary. So the Shakir. So this is Surah 24, verse 31. As a matter of fact, we'll go ahead and read 33:59, which is the other relevant verse here as well. And say to the believing women, so that's her, that they cast down their looks and guard their private parts and do not display their ornaments. It says don't display their ornaments. What are the ornaments? Well, that's kind of up for debate. Except what appears thereof, and let them wear their head coverings over their bosoms. So it says head coverings, but over their bosoms, and not display their ornaments except to their husbands or their fathers, or the fathers of their husbands or their sons, or the sons of their husbands or their brothers sons, or their sisters' sons, or their women, or those whom their right hands possess, or the male servants having need of women, or their children. So it gives this long list of people that they're allowed to show their ornaments to. Right? They're allowed to show their ornaments to. Now, Hilali Khan. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze from looking at forbidden things and protect their private parts from illegal sexual acts, and not to show off their adornment except only that which is apparent, like palms of hands or one eye or both eyes for necessity to see the way, or outer dress like veil, gloves, head cover, apron, etc., and to draw their veils over their ornaments, i.e. their bodies, faces, neck, and bosom. So they're interpreting this as your face, your neck, all of that has to be covered. So, and I'm looking at the translations here. Hilali Khan and Shakir both translate this as head cover. Yusuf Ali translates it as veil. Draw your veils over your bosoms. Pickthall translates it as draw your veils over your bosom. So she's interpreting this as I just have to keep my chest covered and I'm good. I do not have to wear something over my head. Now we'll let her finish up here.
How many times is hair or head mentioned to be covered? 0 times.
Burn.
Convince me otherwise. I believe it doesn't come from the Quran, but from the Hadiths.
Yes.
But I haven't even finished reading the Quran.
So leave me
let
alone.
alone the Hadiths.
So, my goodness.
Wait,
did you hear what you just said? I'm only following it once I've determined for myself that is what I'm supposed to do. I'm still reading the Quran. The Quran does not convince me of what you guys are saying, so I'm not doing it. I think it comes from the Hadith, but I haven't even gotten there yet. Now I'm going to study that on my own, and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do. I decide. Me. I decide what Islam teaches on these issues.
Didn't she just say that she did all the research and already came to the conclusion, and that she doesn't agree that it is obligatory? And then later she concluded that she still hasn't done the whole reading. And once she concludes
she's read enough of the Quran to know that there are these 2 Quran verses, and she's not finished reading the Quran. She's still reading the Quran, but she's carefully investigated these 2 verses, and now she is qualified to educate the entire Muslim Ummah. See, here's the problem, lady. I just want, what I want whatever's best for you in life. I hope that things turn out well for you, but you are only able to get away with that because you are living in a non-Muslim country. That is the
Yes.
only reason you are at all remotely able to sit there and, well, I decide what I'm going to believe, and this is my personal belief about what I'm supposed to do as a Muslim, and you other Muslims can't make me obey you. You can only say that. But I mean, just look at Iran when women start saying, "No, we don't have to follow what." And these some of these women aren't even Muslims. Like, why are we going to wear these head covers? We're not Muslims. What happens to them? Really, really bad stuff. Yes, in a Muslim country, you would be charged with something like spreading corruption in the land. So you're one of these people. Hey, let's all convert to Islam, and you think that you're going to be able to think for yourself and decide what you're allowed to do and not do. That you decide what is haram and halal. And you think that's going to go over well when Muslims show up and say, this is what you need to wear. And I don't have to obey you. Yeah, let me know how well that works out for you in the future.
It is very clear in the hadith, once you go into the authentic hadith, the Islamically authentic hadith, the Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, that women are required to wear the hijab, and that they're supposed to cover themselves so much so that they cover their heads. And it is also explained in the hadith that the women of the time, the Sahaba, the women of Muhammad's time, they used to cover their faces. And there is, of course, dispute over whether covering your face is absolutely obligatory or whether it is just sunnah, whether it is it is an additional thing that you can do. But there are numerous hadiths. There are some, for example, that say, Aisha used to say, this is Sahih Bukhari 4759, when the verse, and they should draw their veils over their necks and bosoms, was revealed, the ladies cut their waist sheets at the edges and covered their heads and faces with those cut pieces of cloth. Then there are other hadith which say that after the hijab verse was revealed, the women would come to the prayer, and going home, nobody would recognize them. And then there is another hadith which says that that Omar kept harassing the wives of Muhammad by saying, whenever they went to the toilet, because it was distant, he would say, I recognize you, I can see you. And he would go to Muhammad and say, hey, why don't you tell your wives to cover up? So eventually Muhammad was like, wait a minute, I'm receiving a revelation right now. Allah's talking to me right now. So Allah sent down a revelation saying that all the women should be covered up. And then he was like, well, yeah, they should be covered up. Mm-hmm. They should be covered up, and they can go outside by themselves to go to the bathroom if they have to. Mm-hmm. Upon which the wives would then go to the bathroom and nobody would be able to recognize them. So, and if you just dress modestly like this woman here, do we recognize her or not? We obviously recognize her. So yep. they were in a state where they were unrecognizable, which means they were actually covered, probably fully.
Mm-hmm. And the other relevant Quran verse, because she cited one, but 33:59, like the Yusuf Ali version here. O Prophet, tell thy wives and daughters and the believing women that they should cast their outer garments over their persons when abroad. That is most convenient, that they should be known as such and not molested. And Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. So the reasoning here, pay attention to the reasoning. You cover yourself to avoid being molested. Well, what's the implication? That if you avoid covering yourself, what do you want? Kind of explains a lot about what happens in Europe right now, doesn't it?
Yes.